Maximals, Maximal Primal, welcome back to Fallout New Vegas. We're still doing the DLC like always. So being food, a bit more active.
Are we being watched?
So I need to fast travel, so I'm going to go here. So that way we can just walk straight over.
Sneaking done. Fighting now.
Is that so?
Please take this. I don't want you to die.
I won't die, come on.
We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be better off with an auto duck suit.
We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be...
Right, so... Oh, it's annoying. I don't understand why it doesn't just start for like as soon as I spawn in there.
Ready, steady, fighty.
Fight. Ready, steady, fighty, okay.
Laser sting!
This will keep you on your feet. No more stim packs. I can't give you anything for that injury. I can't give you anything for that injury.
I got an idea. Smacky wacky.
No more stim packs. We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be better off with an auto duck suit. No more stim packs. No more stim packs.
Well, I kept thinking that the Forbidden Zone was on the other side, but...
Attention visitors! Combat experiment in progress. Please put on your goggles and take your rad-X now. The X-42 giant
No more stim packs.
is alive! Awaken my pet! Initiate your search and destroy protocol in the name of all that is...
I can't give you anything for that injury.
We can do that.
give you anything for that injury. We're out of Stimbax. Maybe you'd be better off with an auto-dock suit.
This is a pre-recorded attack message indicating my desire to commit.
I can't give you anything for that injury. No more Stimpaks. I can't give you anything for that injury.
I know I'm fighting the boss. It's like I feel really.
Bad guys, dealt with. We're out of Stimpaks. Maybe you'd be better off with an auto-dock suit. No more Stimpaks.
Oh, that's definitely right. Awesome. After the stealth suit's gone to shit, explains. Okay, so I'm taking a go up here. So I couldn't really see much, that's a problem, but now.
like me?
You're alright when you don't get bitchy. You found a recalibration file with a sonic emitter. Take it to the junk jukebox. Awesome. Oh yeah, that's why we actually originally came in here. As well, so we'll do that while we're here. It might be the end of the main finale of it, I don't know. We've got it, this could be it. This could have been the last part of it. Huh. This place looks a lot like what they had. Oh, that looks different.
Hmm? Yo! Hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. A little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely. Whoa, did I leave that on? I thought I'd powered it down. Was wondering what was causing the power outages. Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical Mobius is better than I. Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. The anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition. Now, that seems to be rather hormonal of you. Flight or fight response, you know. Hard to cut that out completely. Your brain is here, safe with me. We chat over mentats. Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes. Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat, then. Goodbye. Please mind the equations on the floor.
I got a horrible feeling that Mobius actually is one of those people I've done.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, hmm? Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again? Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie? Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, Dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave?
Good point.
Do you think I enjoyed that little moment? I most certainly am not. I am the seat of all reason and logic in our little partnership. All those feelings that motivate you, that sense of righteousness and that rush you get when you help someone, do you know where those come from? Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny of your ape-like and primitive endocrine system, I can see how foolish your motives are. Well, look, it's all a very complex system of biofeedback and other things I wouldn't expect you to understand. Oh, all right. Perhaps I am, but at least I'm logical about it. I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you. Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat. Oozing hormones.
But okay.
I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it? Indeed. Quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we resolve it? I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us.
Okay, let's think about it like this. It's true, I have been unfair to the brain. I put my character through a lot of shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got ourselves killed constantly. And we've had glitches, a few other stuff. Yeah, I've been a little unfair. It's true, I've fucked up a good few times, but we all do, but...
Well, I suppose you've convinced me well enough. I'll rejoin your body if that's your final decision. Unfortunately, before we get to that stage of the proceedings, we have a problem. Even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share. And you believe them? Really? I know you were recently deprived of my fabulous advice, but... Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be their playground. And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip his own brain into it instead. Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day.
So apparently
All right,
the brain's evil,
what's the plan?
and
Right! Look out, think tank! This brain is coming out of its jar! I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts that...
yay, made up your mind about your brain.
think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Hey, do I have to get my stuff back? We'll be okay, I think. Oh, well, this has definitely been a big turn of events. So we got our brain back. Dr. Mobius doesn't seem as evil as we thought. He's alright. I'm not going to complain about it. I think he's alright. I like him. I think he's just like one of those people
Sneaking
that does
done.
shit and then...
Fighting now.
So we're heading in
Cessation of hostilities complete.
that direction for now.
Sneaking done. Fighting now. That's all. Time to fight. Was that all?
Today is a hell of a day to die, Colin.
What do you say? Don't know where we're going, I just want to try and... I don't like it because I can't see. Okay, now we can actually move. Now it's daytime, we can actually see. I don't even mend hats, I'll be fine game, don't be stupid. Who's done a full 360?
Cessation of hostilities complete.
Let's find a way back up.
You're my best friend forever.
I appreciate it.
Uh-oh. Bad guys dealt with. This one looks pretty tough. That's all. Time to fight.
Today's a hell of a day to die.
Set up here.
We're out of stim packs.
Maybe you'd be better off with them all.
Message for you from Uncle Sam.
I can't give you anything for that injury.
Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. Jeez.
We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be better off with an auto-dock suit. No more stim packs.
Oh.
No more stim packs. We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be better off with an auto-dock suit. No more stim packs. We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be better off with
Come on. I want to get this over with.
I can't give you anything for that injury.
Go quickly. Okay, now that we're on the sink balcony, we'll be fine. We just go in. You know, get the samples and that should be it. If not, I won't be a happy chappy. They don't matter, don't get me wrong.
That's all.
What's the haps? Right on, Daddy-o. Just plug it in and I'll mix you up a sweet, sweet sound. Get you later, Gator.
You got some plans for me, don't you? Yeah, I can smell it all over you. You got some plans for me, don't you? Ah, yeah, baby. You ever seen a biological research station this full of seed? No. No, you haven't.
Oh, please, please tell me you brought me some coffee cups.
Oh, muggy. Let's go. And make them give me back my brain. More than prepared.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped? I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again. And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Mobius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible. A way. Yes, you can. You don't really have an alternative that I can see.
Sure, I can't let him because...
Dr. Klein, I must intersect. Please, do not harm the lobotomite.
I'm not going to harm it. I'm going to dissect it until it's dead. Why the sudden intersection, Dollar?
It's personal. But I would hate if its dying screams revealed any odious personal habits I, or any of us, might have.
Dollar, these vocalized pauses are unlike you. What do you care?
Fine. Are you sure we've calculated all the combat probabilities here? I mean, the lobotomite confronted Mobius. Plus, you know, we haven't had a COMBAT drill in forever. I don't think we could form a tactical attack triangle if we wanted to.
Releasing the WOMBAT was not my plan, so get off my voice box.
Silencing opinionators.
Why am I even listening to you fools? The determinators are greater than the hesitators, so hesitators, be quiet. We are bigger, smarter, and floatier than you, lobotomites. We don't wish to fight you, so surrender your brain, now. A fight? I've never been in a fight. What do I... Colleagues! Think tank! Alert! Alert! We are under attack!
Uh-oh.
Behold the power of science!
No more stimpaks. No more stimpaks.
When we're done, we just kill all the brains.
That's all.
Quite sad, it didn't need to end that way. I mean, I got why to some extent, but let's leave the think tank. Let's go.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, This all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The bookship continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
Right, okay.
Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub.
Why?
Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910.
That was an invasion.
If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
That's good.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded.
Okay.
So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ, and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
True that.
The think tank basement, filled with the lobotomized robotical frames of the doctors, now served as a graveyard. The monitors had recorded the battle in its entirety, including the think tank's final, shrill, terrified screams, whimpers, and pleas for mercy. They broadcast these humiliating last moments as a warning to anyone approaching the perimeter that other smarty pants were not welcome. The courier was the inheritor of the Big Empty, and there was room for only one will in the halls of the think tank dome.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues. It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around
very
them.
longer than
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World Blues took on a new meaning. Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The Sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Huzzah, sir! Huzzah! Huzzah, sir!
Alright, so anyway guys, we finished Your World Blues. Still stuff to do, don't get me wrong. But the next video you're going to see me go to these 3. One of these 3, so we'll start a new DLC adventure. I'll see you all then, take care, see ya.